Alex Anzalone, knocks it out. Saints fans saying, all right, we got the safety, but look how close this was to a touchdown. It's a lot harder than it looks. That ball is spinning on its side. It's really difficult. Breeze is like, okay. Third quarter, we got a close one here, 14-9. Breeze goes back, looking. So much time. Our guy, Latavius Murray, sneaks out of the backfield, and he goes pay dirt, touchdown. The Saints would miss the two-point conversion, but they would take the lead in this one. That means Mahomes has to answer, and it's 2nd and goal. Veers left, and look at the catch by Mecole Hardman here. That is 2 feet. That is inbounds. Look at it again. 1, 2, and look at those pellets. It might be the toe drag swag of the year, Burleson. We'll get to that. 4th quarter, 21-15. They pull this one out of their hat. It's a run pitch option. Looks like a college game from the 1980s in the WAC conference when you do this stuff. Le'Veon Bell puts it in. Chiefs would take the lead. Chiefs would win this game. They go on. Of course, they were watching Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Ian just reported. Likely out for the regular season, hope for the playoffs. But another victory for the Chiefs, this one on the road in the Superdome. Let's hear from Patrick Mahomes after the game.
You got to be able to win games in this league. I mean, that's it at the end of the day. I mean, it looks cool and it feels awesome to win by 20, 30 points. But when you have a team that can find a way to win with their offense, the defense, and special teams every single game and find a way to win no matter what the score is, those are the teams that make runs at the end of the year.
Chiefs still on top on their way to being the only team with a bye in the AFC. In the NFC, the Saints still in that 2 seed despite losing back-to-back games. The Seahawks right there at 10-4 and nipping at their heels. Nate, what do you think of the Chiefs after leaving New Orleans with another close win, but a win?
Yeah, and that's it. It's a win. And emphasize a W, because that's all you're looking for at this point in the season. I always remind people what happened last year when they went on that historical Super Bowl run. I mean, I remember the first game against the Texans. They were down big. Was it 21, 24 points? They come back in that one. Even the AFC Championship game, they were down, and then they come back in that one. The Super Bowl, they were down to the Niners and come back in that one. So when you have these close games, as long as you just fight it out, gut it out, no matter how you do it, just walk away with the dub. And I have to credit the Saints because they were very motivated. They played physical. There were times where they were just rushing forward and bringing the heat to Pat Mahomes. He was doing everything, just like on this play, he was doing everything he could just to get the pass off. They had 4 sacks, 11 QB hits, and 12 pressures. So they were putting the pressure on Pat Mahomes. But with that said, he still put up 32 points. He still had 3 TDs. I mean, at one point, he took a shot by 2 guys, and I could have swore he broke his ribs like Drew Brees did. I won't be surprised if he's on the injury report because he was wincing on the sideline. But yet and still, he gutted it out, got back in the game, and he closed it out. That's what makes this team so scary. It doesn't matter if they start fast. It doesn't matter if you hit them. They're still going to be able to score because they're that good, and they have so many guys that can hit you from so many different areas.
These Mondays are always about what did we learn, and you see the Saints lose 2 games in a row, and you're like, oh no, what did we learn about them? Not a lot. I don't have any negative feelings about the Saints coming off this. Their quarterback hadn't played in weeks. Their best receiver is out. Their best pass rusher was ejected. And when we show that little Chiefs option play, Peter, when it's in cool plays, bro, this week, that was right to Cam Jordan's side on the very next play after he was ejected. I don't think that was a coincidence. But as far as the Chiefs, this was a very, very expensive win because the Clyde Edwards-Helaire injury thing is massive. It is a massive injury having nothing to do just with the Chiefs or the AFC West or even the AFC. This is an NFL injury because this injury could keep them from winning a Super Bowl. This is a huge deal. Now, Rap Sheet said earlier he is out for the regular season, and the word hip was involved, and I get terrified of that word for running backs because Clyde has been awesome. Now the fascinating story is that one of the most important people in the entire NFL is Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell, it's almost like this is destiny. From the stalemate with the Steelers to the year out of football to the terrible middling season with the Jets to now showing up. And it's like, oh my God, Le'Veon Bell, you might decide whether or not Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid get a second Super Bowl this year. I've been somewhat impressed with him. I thought he had his best, most productive game yesterday, but now he's the guy. He is the main attraction in that running game. He has to do a ton. And when they play these teams in the playoffs, tough teams, Buffalo, Tennessee, Indianapolis, Baltimore, they need that running factor. You cannot just do Mahomes to Tyreek against those teams up and down the field. Le'Veon Bell has to be a star. It's been years in the making. No more supporting act now. It's time to step up. One of the most important players in all of football now becomes Le'Veon.
It's why the 2020 NFL season is so unpredictable. I'd go back to the Chiefs winning by 3, and a lot of people saying, they always win, but they don't win convincingly. I understand that. I also would say they went into New Orleans and won. They went into Miami and won. They went into Baltimore and won. They went into Tampa and won. And guess where else they won? They won in Buffalo. Those were all road victories. They're flawless on the road. So I don't want to take anything away from them, though I agree there were moments where you're wondering, is this team better than Buffalo? And we will see that in the playoffs. They have the best playbook in football. If you didn't see it in the highlights, can we just see a couple? Watch Tyreek Hill on this first touchdown. We're going to spot shadow him. I'm going to go left. I'm going to go right. I'm going to go left. And then I'm going to sneak into here and someone throw it to me, and I'm going to score a touchdown. Like, that's all pre-snap. That's incredible. How about this? Coming right out of the commercial break, the second touchdown of the game. This is the Kelsey one. Mahomes under center, quick, blip, done. Like, what is that? I don't see that being done by other teams. That's a touchdown. This is a ridiculous play. You just don't see. And we saw the Hardman touchdown, but I was almost more impressed with that Le'Veon one. Kyle, you're right. Out goes Cam Jordan, gets ejected. Davenport has to come in. Marcus Davenport, he might not be ready for this situation. And they go right to him, and they attack exactly where Cam Jordan was protecting the edge the entire game, and they score. This is what bails them out in these games. They're smart, they're great, and they've got the best playbook in all of football. And they very rarely run the wrong route or make the wrong play. You watched Rodgers on Saturday, and he's sitting there, and he's biting his lip, and he's talking like this. And you watch some of these other offenses, and it feels like one receiver's not doing the right thing. The Chiefs are all on the same page. They're all dialed in up here, and they all speak Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy's language. They always seem to win, even if it isn't by 20 points.
It's so true. As we go week by week, Triggs, I'm like, why are we even doing the show? Like, he throws 3 interceptions. They win the game. Toughest competition they faced all year in the Saints. Great defensive performance. Romo was saying you can't play much better defense than this. They gave them everything they could. They took care of the Chiefs offense as well as anything. Nate says it. They still put up 32 points against this defense. Trey Hendrickson hit Mahomes 5 times. An incredible performance from the gloveless wonder. They made them uncomfortable. They did it all. They were all over the place, but still the Chiefs did their thing. It was discouraging in that way. You have to play your perfect game against the Chiefs. It's like when you go against Tyson and Punch Out, you can hit the right buttons and dodge 90% of the uppercuts, but that 10% you mess up, you are absolutely on your butt. You need to play a perfect game. The Saints couldn't get it together on offense. Offensively, I think they're fine. So I was discouraged in that way. But on the flip side, then I look at the Saints, and I just think it's important to point out, I do think this is the best defense in the NFC. So if they don't get the bye, and it's unlikely that they will, and they do have to face whoever beat them and then go to Lambeau and take on Aaron Rodgers, I don't hate that defense. I don't hate the Saints defense going into Lambeau and giving them trouble. And I'm not scared of the Green Bay defense necessarily. So I just think it's really important to keep an eye when we talk playoffs and momentum. That defense was really, really good despite that 30 points. So you can see it different ways. Just wanted to point that out and give Hendrickson some love. Okay, let's bring in Ian Rapsheet, our NFL Network insider here. The Chiefs getting the win. Everyone's, of course, concerned about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Saw a bit of an update from you on Twitter. Everybody should follow at Rapsheet. What's the latest?
Well, it definitely seems, Kay, like it looked a lot worse than it actually is, and the Chiefs are going to get an MRI today, actually, on 2 body parts. It's not just the hip, but it's also the ankle, but x-rays were negative on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and that kind of gruesome, scary-looking injury you're seeing right there, one that left him hobbling off, putting no weight on it. My understanding is he's done for the regular season. Not a surprise. The safe move for the Kansas City Chiefs, but based on the MRI, they're hoping for good news, and they chance he could be back for the playoffs. If that's the situation, if that's what happens after the MRI, it would be very good news and a sigh of relief for Kansas City. Obviously, meanwhile, another injury that we have been tracking, another one that really looked pretty scary right when it happened, reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Stephon Gilmore, the Patriots' top cornerback and one of the best cornerbacks in football. It was initially labeled a knee injury. My understanding is it's actually a leg injury and not nearly as serious as it appears, is based on where the Patriots are out of the playoffs now officially. Gilmore expected to be done for the regular season, but he's going to have tests today on more of the thigh, quad area, kind of above the knee, just to see what is there, but certainly not something where it is an injury as serious as we thought.
Appreciate the update. Some optimism all around.